Good morning. This is Sean Brown, and this is Urban Disruptors Weekly Wrap Up. No, I'm just kidding. I don't talk like that. Good morning, everyone. This is Sean Brown, and this is Urban Disruptors Weekly Wrap Up. We come to you every Sunday morning with updates on local news, politics, where I give my opinion as a free thinker, intellectual, black, urban parent, strategic planner, nonprofit, business owner, resident perspective. So here it is. I'm so glad for you for being here with me today. I thought I'd be on location today, but it didn't turn out that way. I'll tell you all about that in a moment. If you are tuning into this, I just ask that you go to if you're watching this on your phone or wherever, share this with your friends and family. Let them know that you are watching this fantastic show. As usual, I will have some information to share with everyone about what is going on. Thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not looking at the camera because I am doing my show. I'm sending this to people. Please share this, start a watch party. Let them know that they're going to get some great information. We're going to dig into politics, into news. Good morning to my friends that are watching. Thank you so much. Hope that you are healthy. Hope that you're happy. Hope that everything in your life is going well and as planned. I hope that you are able to fulfill your New Year's resolutions on this fantastic day this morning. I'm going to get into it with some news, and we're gonna go from there. And I'll explain my shirt. So let's get into it. So many interesting things happening. So let's start with COVID. So COVID is obviously still around, and there continue to be deaths and new infections that people have. There are reports of a new strand of coronavirus that's not COVID-19, that's also contagious. People are getting vaccinated. So the Morristown Mall in Burlington County is now a vaccination location. I'll read this story real quick from Burlington County Times. The COVID vaccination mega site at the Morristown Mall opened Friday morning. Located in the anchor store space once occupied by Lord & Taylor, the mall is one of 6 vaccination mega sites in New Jersey. It can administer up to 40 shots at a time and 2,400 per day. And the article goes on to describe what's going on with that. So did you get the vaccine yet? If you got the vaccine already, let me know in the comments. If you're definitely thinking you're not going to get the vaccine, I'm really curious to hear what you think. Oh, I do want to add this feature today. I don't have a guest, so you can be the guest. So what I'm going to do here is put the link in the this is a link to how to go live with me this morning. If you want to come in on any conversation, I'll see you pop up if you click it. Look, if I love you, but I don't have confidence in your public speaking and intellectual skills, I may not add you. So I'm just going to be a jerk and say that right now. Other than that, feel free to come on, and I'll be gentle and soft unless we're close, and I'll ask you hard questions. Okay. So anyway, there's the link if you want to come on this morning. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to wear your mask, eat water, eat green leafy vegetables, have a healthy diet, get sunlight. They believe science right now is leaning towards the idea that if you have an adequate amount of vitamin D in your body, it makes it less likely for you to get sick with coronavirus. That means you have to have a healthy diet, which includes vitamin D, which you can get from foods, including green leafy vegetables, but it also means that you need to have exposure to the sun every day. So make sure you are taking a walk outside, you're getting sunlight, your windows are clean and your curtains are open if you're in a house all day, to make sure you get that sunlight when this is winter and we have less sunlight than we do other times of the year. Next, in no particular order, I like this story. Local essayists imagine a Camden free of illegal dumping. So a previous guest, Vija Chandler, this is a project in her department at Cooper's Ferry with a new view. So they had people write essays. They were read on WHYY, at least portions were read on WHYY, the news outlet, a few days ago, where the entire Philadelphia region got to hear these stories. So I do want to read this opening section. As I walk past an alley, I'm choked by toxic fumes, like rotten feces and steam mildew radiating from the illegal dumping of trash, which has been left unaddressed behind an abandoned house. I continue my journey past a remote street with no houses. Half the street features a tall cement wall covered in graffiti. The other half is overshadowed by overgrown trees in distress, says the writer. So you could read this and more. I think that I'm glad that that Cooper's Ferry is continuing to support local writers and artists in various ways as they contribute to dealing with issues in the way that they can. If you want to read more, that you can read it in an article from these essays. You can also go to anewviewcamden.com, anewviewcamden.com to take a look at it. I will put it here in the comments, and I could do you one better. Let's just take a look at it and see what's going on. Oh, that's weird. Oh, my browser doesn't like this website. Oh, here we go. I was gonna say my browser doesn't like this website. So here you can see the winners of the essay contest, which include some people I don't know, which is nice. You know, the thing is that there's a certain type of person that wants to contribute to their community, but they don't want to do it through politics because they see how ugly and weird it can be. But the arts is another avenue of how we can make our community better, and it's less confrontational. And I think ultimately it even speaks to more people. So I've always been a fan of the arts. One of the reasons I'm here at Dare Academy. So here you see first place, second place, and third place. And you can read the essays here. Ivy's essay, that's the one that's the one I quoted. And you can see the story here in WHYY, written by it. Her name is Ivy Staten Minor, a community activist. Okay. That's interesting. She's from Camden. I would like to know who she is. This lady too. Shamir. Okay, Shamir. Shamir with the essay. Oh, and they have the whole, and there's the whole essay there. Yeah, I see some gems in here as I read through. So congratulations to them. Writing is a powerful tool. Another group that, if you don't know about, that I would recommend you look into, just in case you care about writing, is Mighty Writers. I'm actually going to be working on a project with Mighty Writers pretty soon myself. My youngest son won a contest with them. I like to write. I think that writers have an important role in what's going on. I'm going to get to some more news in a second, but I do want to just share this with you real quick. I don't know what that comment means. Okay. So here's just another organization that you can look into, Mighty Writers. They support young people in writing. They have different programs. They have a Camden office, so you can look into them. They also give away food on, I think, is it Mondays? I think it's Mondays in Camden, in front of their office in one Broadway. All right, cool. Now, oh, somebody give me a sad face. I don't know what I said sad. Something sad happened. All right, so Martin Luther King Day is coming up. There are a bunch of activities that are going on for Martin Luther King Day. That includes a skate party at Millennium. That also includes conversations, lectures. There is a Martin Luther King Day youth conference. It's a virtual youth conference on Monday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's yeah. Here you go. If you're interested in young people attending the conference, I'm going to put the link in here. I think that Camden County is on this whole justice reform kick right now, led by Rosie Arroyo. I always want to say Briones. Rosie Arroyo. Rosie Arroyo. Rosie, I'm trying to get your name right. I think I got it. All right. But anyway, there is a if you're interested in that, you can click the link for young people to attend the conference. Okay. Next. Look at this, guys. Businesses near 2 New Jersey cities can replace stinky trucks with electric ones under new pilot program. So Camden is in a new pilot program. Residents who are concerned with inhaling unhealthy diesel fumes from diesel trucks could get some relief. This is reported in NJ Advanced Media for NJ.com. The pilot program targeted toward businesses in the greater Camden area pays up to 100% of the cost of replacement electric vehicles. It was approved by the State Economic Development Authority. This is known as Governor Murphy's Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. So if you care about the environment, you care about fumes, maybe one of your children has asthma, just to let you know that there are some small attempts being attempted to address that. Okay, we're about to get into the fun stuff here. Medical marijuana, recreational marijuana. So as you may know, the state legislature is still figuring out how to pass a law that Governor Murphy will support and sign. What it's come down to is punishment for those between 18 and 21. So here is the latest update reported at NJ.com yesterday. There was visible excitement among attendees of New Jersey Cannabis Insider's first virtual networking event. So there are a whole group of people, and I'm going to show you this in a moment, how you can be tied into this. There are a whole group of people who are waiting to figure out what the law is going to be and how to get involved in it. And there's an article that I found disturbing. This is actually written by a researcher, not a journalist, about legalized recreational marijuana and how the minority community can fit into it. So I want to show you this article so that you can see it for yourself. And I just remind you guys, if you're just tuning in, you can call in, you can video call or call in today, and we can have the conversation about whatever the news is or what's going on. I'll be talking about Trump later. Black-owned pot businesses remain rare despite diversity efforts. So this is a whole article about how, despite people trying to do it, marijuana legalization advocates often group 3 policies under the term social equity. Priority licensing. So priority licensing means if you fit certain criteria, it's easier for you to license. Removing past marijuana-related offenses from criminal records, and using cannabis tax revenue to fund community development programs in hard-hit neighborhoods. So this is the future of what legalization looks like. And remember, in New Jersey, we still we still don't have a law in place, although it is set in our Constitution. So this whole article goes into how expensive, how difficult it is to enter into the recreational marijuana market, and because of that, how few minorities are participating in it. We don't want to see wealth that has been generated in this community transfer to another community when we go from criminalized marijuana to legalized marijuana, right? And listen to what I just said carefully, and you'll get the full message of what I'm saying. We don't want the money to transfer from our community to another community, because the more money that circulates within our own community, the more of those in that community, us, are then enriched from that money being circulated in our own community. This means we buy products and services from our own folks in our own community and not put that money in other communities, where that money will then circulate in those other communities. Now, with that said, I recommended a restaurant. I got cursed out last night by a friend. I recommended a restaurant, and my friend went to that restaurant and did not like the food. He complained of the customer service and the taste of the food, and the menu. And as I was trying to recommend a new place that opened that I thought deserved a chance, I ate there a few times myself. So here's the thing. If you are going to do any type of business or be any type of professional, you must act and be professional on that journey. Because as you can see from this article, and I'm sure many others that you can look at, it's not like there are people that are banging on our doors to support us financially outside of our own community. So that means we have to be set up ourselves in the best way possible in our economy to create, to design, to support, to pay, but also to lead with integrity, with training, with knowledge, to find out what is going on. And I want this show to continue to be not only a place where we talk about news and politics, but also if you are trying to make more money, I want to make sure that you know about things like secured credit cards, how to get your credit score increased, other ways of bringing in money that maybe you didn't think of. These are struggles I've had myself over the years, and I have found answers that I have had a profound impact on how I think about money, how I spend money, how I make money, and I recommend the same for you. Let me move on with more news. Again, the link is in the comments. If you go up a little bit, you'll see the link is in the comments if you want to join us today for Urban Disruptors Weekly Wrap Up. All right, next story. PPP. So small businesses are now eligible to apply. Well, certain small businesses are eligible to apply for money now. So if you have a small business, if you're acting as a sole proprietor, LLC, whatever the case may be, there's money available, and there will likely continue to be money available. I do want to share a few things with you. So I'm gonna share this with you. It's a story from CNBC. Why do I share stories that are written by journalists? I don't want you to think that I'm making this information up. And I also don't want to talk off the top of my head. Sometimes I want to make sure I'm getting it right. So I share the work that great journalists have done. And I'm kind of like, this is what media means. I'm between, there's the actual story, the journalist that reports on it. You may not see this stuff come up in your news feed. You may not do the research on your own time. So I've done some of it for you as a service to my community and to you as my viewer. So with that, I'm just going to share this story as I've shared others. Small businesses can get a second PPP, but not this popular COVID era loan. So in the first stimulus, there were two different programs. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just do my own thing on this, where I just talk about this in a separate video with for folks. I think I'm going to do that actually. So I'm going to put this link in the comments, because I don't know how many of you actually have a small business where this would be a concern. But know this is what I do for a living. If you like me, if you want to support me, if you want to make money for your business, I have watched the videos. I read the information on the SBA site and other websites as well. I looked at the application myself. I have successfully applied before on behalf of myself and other people. So get at me, get at Sean Brown, and I can help you raise some money for your small business or nonprofit organization. There are multiple ways we can have a conversation. It is a service. There is a fee, but I can do that. And this is my show, and I'm gonna give myself a commercial, and there it is. I'm good at what I do. Let me know if you're interested. Get in contact with me. If you're watching this, you probably know how to get in contact with me pretty easily. You can call me, you can text me, you can send me a message, you can write a comment, and we will figure it out from there. All right. Next. So as you may see, I am wearing my blue and yellow University of Delaware shirt. I want to see which of my friends are watching. So one of my friends, tell me what in two words, what was the joke about University of Delaware when I went there? Let's see who's watching. Matter of fact, the first of my friends that puts in the comments, what was the joke about University of Delaware when I went there, will get a prize by the end of the day. You will get a prize by the end of the day. Okay. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, why am I wearing this shirt? So here's the next question. This is for anybody watching. Why would I be wearing the University of Delaware shirt today? Why am I wearing this today? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? If you know, put it in the comments real quick. I'm going to keep talking, but put it in the comments real quick. I am going to give you a hint, though. I have something in common with President-elect Biden, soon to be President Biden. What does that have in common? Is anybody going to write it? No? Is anybody going to write it in the comments? All right. What does it have in common? We both went to the University of Delaware. Hey, he's from Wilmington. Newark, Delaware is like, I don't know, 20 miles maybe across the state from Wilmington. I drove there for a year and a half, a few days a week. Former guest itinerary Lean, he got me to go there. Anyway, enough about me and University of Delaware. More so on the presidential presidential politics. It's not an election. The election is over. So this is what's going on. What we now know is that there was a structured, planned attack by people in various white supremacist affiliated groups that attacked the U.S. Capitol last week. There are reports now from law enforcement that there was a planned attack to kill certain positions, including the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, the Sergeant at Arms, and the President pro tem, to force a new government to come in protest to what they believe was an election stolen from Donald Trump. Obviously, the election was not stolen from Donald Trump. That's not what happened. The election was stolen from Hillary Clinton in 2016 due to severe Russian interference in the election, that the Obama administration underestimated its impact and cared too much about the optics of political interference, and not enough about the sanctity of our elections and how important it is that there's no international influence, but also that the systems are good themselves. Good morning. Good morning. Hey there. Hey there. Thomas Sutherland from University of Delaware. That's how I know you, right? Yeah. Okay. Good morning. So, Tom, I guess you heard my UD spiel from the good old days of walking through that beautiful campus in Newark, studying urban policy, which is what the show is all about. So anyway, where was I? I don't know. Was I on the Capitol attack? I think that's where I was. So there was a planned attack. So I looked into this in the last week or so, and there's a little bit of information I want to share. Here's the first thing I want to share, though, and this is a lesson for us in this urban community. The white supremacists that did that attack were wrong, were immoral, do not look at their privilege and their status in this country in a way that's appropriate. However, there are a few lessons in what they did that we can learn from. And who are we? We are the people who want to see a better country for everybody. We're the people that want to see economic justice, social justice. After George Floyd was killed, there was a movement throughout this country of people wanting to do more. And I participated in that in myself for a few weeks. But there is a stumbling block that we hit. And the difference between a lot of people I know in my community that want to see a better world, and these people who stormed the U.S. Capitol, a big difference is that they were willing to read and research. What their mission was wrong, but their tactics hold lessons that we can learn from. They read books. They're in groups studying these things, talking about these things, debating these issues, and planning a strategy for how to address it. Right? In our own community, we're very, and I know this from the work that I try to do on this. When it comes to, as of today, January 16th, 2021, or actually today's the 17th, and I think that's a day behind on the computer for some reason. But anyway, as of January 17th, I don't know everything that I need to know to be a leader in a successful movement. I know some things, I might even know many things, but I don't know everything, which means I'm going to have to read a book, which means I might have to watch some YouTube videos. I might have to take an online workshop. I might have to interview people who have done the work successfully in other places and learn lessons from them and take notes and then apply those things. I don't need to lead with my arrogance. As smart as I am, I know that I'm not nearly as smart as it takes to get to the next level, because a lot of my intelligence was real helpful to get me where I am right now, but it may not be good enough to get me to the next level. It may not be good enough for me to be able to successfully participate in a movement for the moral cause that we have. See, now we're not going to use the same tools that the enemy used, that the bad guys use. They were willing to do things that our conscience just won't let us do. But we can't skip on the intellectual part of the understanding of why we're in the movement to begin with. And I see somebody saying in the comments that it was a setup. It was absolutely a setup. There's at least one member of Congress that gave people a tour of the Capitol the day before. So you see how you have these outsiders who flew in, who drove in, who brought weapons in. Some of these people are police officers, former military people. The structure that they have. One online system gets shut down, and they're immediately able to follow it up with another online system. They planned this attack in plain sight. All you had to do is look at certain search terms in Twitter. There are multiple people who reported to the FBI, who reported to the Speaker of the House, who reported to the Capitol Police that there was going to be an attack on that day. Multiple people reported this. So as the urban disruptor, as I like to say, yeah, there's something wrong with those folks that were trying to do that attack. But there's also something wrong with the people who decided that having a lot of police outside the Capitol wasn't a good look as they were counting the vote. There's also something wrong with the 74 million people who decided to vote for Donald Trump, despite the man that he presented himself to be, despite him being literally the poorest person in America, maybe the world. He has at least $400 million in debt, and it could be up to $900 million in debt. If you've never heard this, look it up. This is not a theory; it's a fact. Trump himself didn't dispute it when it was exposed as being his financial reality. This says the people arrested as of now. If that says we're left, as in from the left, well, that's just not true. When you look at the people who participated in the attack, and then go back and look at their social media history, things that they put on Twitter, they have a history of being MAGA people, Trumpsters, neo-Nazis, anti-Semitic groups, certainly anti-Black groups. So a few people have asked me, well, what's the motivation for these things? Like, why do people feel so emboldened and almost a requirement to do such terrible things? It can't just be because they're white, right? It's not just because they're white. What it is, though, is, okay. Somebody, you said look it up. Like if you're all right, if you're including Antifa, also known as Antifa, as the left, I would question if they're truly the left. I know people in Antifa. I was doing photojournalism when I worked at Media Mobilizing Project. In January 2017, I went to several protests. And if you go a year before that and a year after that, I went to a few more, both in Philadelphia and a few other places including Camden and other places in New Jersey, Newark. I've been in several protests. And when going to protests, you see that it's not just one group. It's not one group of people there. Although you look around, it looks like it's one group of people. They're different coalitions. Just like on the other side, they're different coalitions. They're different coalitions. And Antifa is not a left group. Antifa is mostly suburban kids who have nothing better to do than to disrupt, but not in a good way, like I do, but to disrupt, cause havoc, look cool in their all black and red scarves, carry signs. They're there for the show. They're there for the video, for the picture. They're serious look faces. I met these people. They have no true political goal. They're possibly anarchists. Like why are they left? Because by the way, if you believe that every American deserves health care, that might mean somebody might say you're on the left, but to me that just means you're like a decent person. If you think that everybody should have access to affordable, decent higher education, then I would say okay, that makes sense. But some people would say you're on the left. So I think the other thing is this: when we try to divide ourselves into like right or left or center, we diminish the full thoughts that our minds hold in terms of all the ideas that we can have. So I can believe that I could believe in universal health care, but I could also be pro-life. I can believe in I can care deeply about the environment and environmental justice, but also think that businesses deserve tax credits for doing for practicing certain things. I can have ideas that are held by Democrats or Republicans, and I'm being true to myself, my own politics, even though I lean one way or another. Why would I think people should have the best opportunities in life? Right. Well, it doesn't. It's. Let me say this. Does everyone think that everyone should have the best opportunities in life? Yes. But I would also think is that people forget, especially on the right, especially certain Republicans, especially certain MAGA people, forget that the starting line is a straight line, right? And maybe everybody is, thank you. And on that straight line, some people have shackles on their feet. They might be invisible shackles, but they have shackles in their feet. And then as everyone starts running, there are hurdles that certain folks have to jump over that other people don't have to jump over. Now, here's the thing. You can put a shackle on my foot and you can put hurdles in front of me, and the guy to my left and the guy to my right, they may have no shackles and they may not have any hurdles. So at the end of it, ultimately it's going to come to who's the fastest, who's the strongest. So even within that, if I'm still winning, or if I'm still in first, second, or third place, you should be pretty impressed. But if I end up in last place, don't blame me for not being strong or fast. Cut those shackles off. Knock those hurdles down. So that if I am in last place, it's because I wasn't strong or I wasn't fast, because I didn't exercise enough. I didn't do my stretches. I didn't take my coach's advice, not because of barriers and shackles that have been put in place by society. Where are those shackles and barriers? It's the history of redlining, where people couldn't move out the hood to a suburban community, even though they qualified, just because of institutional racism that was set in the real estate market. What are those shackles? Those shackles are people whose names sound black, and because of that, they don't get a job interview, or people don't take them seriously for a bank loan application. What are those barriers? What are those shackles? Those barriers and shackles include cronyism, where people are picking their friends and the people they went to school with. It's also known as legacy, instead of picking the most qualified people for things. What are those barriers? What are those shackles? Our own politics in our own cities, where our own leaders that look like us or are supposed to represent us actually end up supporting corporations and large corporate growth, as opposed to lifting and supporting the needs of poor people in their own communities. Barriers and shackles continue to be put before our people. And when someone says, when we congratulate a Black person who got picked for a high profile position, we want to celebrate that because we we know that the barriers and shackles that person had to go through in order to get to that position. So some kind white person who maybe grew up in a middle class or poor family saying, listen, you think it's been all easy for me? I got barriers and I have shackles. And maybe you do. But I'll tell you this, you did not have those barriers or those shackles because you were white, not one. That's what white privilege is, that you don't have the barrier or the shackle of ethnicity. So then someone says, well, why is there a BET? Why is there a Black entertainment television when you wouldn't like if there was white entertainment television, right? And then I would argue that most shows are white entertainment television, including some shows that feature majority minorities that are still speaking directly to a white audience and not to another audience, not to a Black audience. So that's why when a show like Martin might look ghetto to one person, to another person, it represents a culture. And it shows a guy who works, who has a stable relationship with his girlfriend, who has good relationships with his friends, who lives in New York, and isn't involved in drug dealing or gangbanging. We're going to bring our different perspectives to these things, but sometimes we have to remember that the shackles, the barriers, they're invisible. These aren't literal things. Another shackle is the legacy of slavery that's gone from generation to generation, where some families have been able to succeed with social mobility. They've been able to get to the next economic ladder, to the next economic rung on the ladder, I should say. But others have not. I was talking with my friend earlier today, and he told me he works in education. The attitude and the way that some of the parents speak about their own children, the lack of advocacy that they do to make sure their child is getting the best education with the right and proper tools, is sad. We're about to have another generation that's like that. So somebody said, well, what are the barriers and the shackles there for this mom who doesn't care about her child's education? Well, that is a reflection of her trauma. And a trauma that's so severe, it blocks her thinking what she can do to help support her life and her child's life, for generations to come. It's so easy to get caught up in our own lives that we forget about the struggles that others had before us. Just because maybe you were able to make it to a certain level, not everybody had the exact same circumstance. Because for you, it could have been that one guidance counselor. It could have been that one coach. It could have been that one parent, that one aunt. Maybe if you're lucky, that one uncle. But not everybody had that person in their life. Some people, they had it before them and they squandered the opportunity. The news had lied about everything they have reported for the last 5 years. Beyond this stuff about the White House is all lies. So when people say stuff like that, here's my response to you on that, Mr. Johnson. And I thank you for watching and tuning in. We're all lied to. There is no perfect media, but I'm going to tell you this. I try to consume a lot of different types of media, and what conservative Republicans hear when they watch Fox News and read Breitbart and I think it's called One America, versus what a person that watches MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, these are very, very, very different narratives about very similar situations. But where do we draw our line about what we actually care about, what's actually upsetting, and then how far are we willing to go to deal with those issues? Killing police officers is bad. Nobody should be killed. Nobody should be murdered. You shouldn't target a police officer and kill him. I think we can all agree with that. Yet if a black person does it, that person deserves to be arrested in the death penalty. If a white person does it, there are so many people who are turning a blind eye to it because it was in the name of protecting their country, which isn't really what it's about at all. There's so much that goes on in this world around us that we don't know. So we have to rely on people who are in the know, who were at the meeting, who had that conversation, who did the research as we get the information that we have. But the whole world that we live in isn't one big conspiracy theory. The stuff I think some of the worst things that happens in politics happens right in plain sight. Let's start with how politicians get their money. I've talked about this for Camden local politics, who when they run for office, that money is not raised from residents who are actually voting directly for them. That will be impacted by the decisions that person makes. It's donated by people who don't even know who these candidates are. On a national level, on a federal level, it's a little bit different. Those folks that run, they normally do know who their donors are, and those donors are very wealthy people who have an interest in a certain law or regulation being made that benefits that business. And then they put money into those candidates. That's the way that system works. So when you look at the laws that are passed, especially when Republicans are in charge, and too often when Democrats are in charge as well, a lot of it is stuff that supports for-profit businesses that are already making a lot of money. Another comment. Isn't there info showing our media has been tampered with from outside sources? Absolutely. There are documentaries on this. Look at what's the one? Sinclair. Look at Sinclair. If you're familiar with Sinclair News and what they've done to local news. Conspiracy. The one thing is proven that all things either become true or require investigation. Well, the thing about conspiracy is a conspiracy by definition means that different people were working together that normally don't secretly for a dubious reason, right? So there are definitely conspiracies that happen. Like conspiracy just doesn't automatically mean that it's not true. Conspiracy can be, oh, this person over here worked with that person over there, and they did this bad thing and no one was supposed to find out about it for their own personal benefit. That meets the criteria of a conspiracy, including if it really happened. What we have to be careful though is saying things that aren't true, but that sound good or that match our instincts and current beliefs. And then we latch on to the first thing that agrees with that, and then ignore the facts that are contrary to what that idea is because we don't want to lose what it was. Cognitive dissonance. It's a form of cognitive dissonance as the scientific word. All right. Back to Biden. So what's going to happen? Yeah. So I was going to go to Washington, D.C. I had a few friends set up to go with me. I was going to be on location. But then last night I saw that the guy was put over 50 rounds in his car. So I continue to see stories of how locked down DC is going to be and how they suspect that today there's some wild things that may be happening there. And then the other reason that I wasn't able to go on location, just in case you're curious, is because I started riding my bike and my legs are super sore from riding a bike. I can barely walk right now. One of the reasons why I was a little late getting started this morning. But in that going on, I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to go. But I think we should all watch the news. I didn't want to see it firsthand because I want to hear from some of these MAGA Trump people. I want to hear from them myself. I'm able to talk to them without getting upset, even though I find much of what they say to be upsetting. And I think if they're possibly listen, thank you. Oh yeah, stretch and drink water. Is that the solution to my soreness? Thank you. I will try that. Some in the future, somebody's going to be listening to this in their car, like on a podcast. So maybe I should reference the comments better. Oh yeah, because if you're watching this on Facebook, you can't see what it is anyway. So there was a YouTuber commented, "LOL, stretch and drink water" in reference to my muscle aches. Yes, that is good advice. We have a few other additions in the comments. The conspiracy of Russiagate. Yeah, so Russiagate is definitely like Russia. Like Donald Trump has some weird stuff going on in Russia. There is absolutely no doubt about that. He owes Russians not millions of dollars, not tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. Although I'm sure they got that back and more with Trump as president and the policies that he put through. So look, we voted or we didn't vote. The results are in. The Electoral College has done their thing. On Wednesday, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will put their hands on Bibles or whatever they may choose to, and they will take their oath, and they will be the president and vice president of the United States. Unless something extraordinarily terrible happens, that's what's going to happen on Wednesday. And when that happens, we're going to have moderate Democrats who are more closely aligned with moderate Republicans than they are with liberal Democrats leading our country. And there will be some good things that come from that. And there will be a whole bunch of stuff that really won't be addressed at all. So it's up for us to figure out what the rules of engagement are, figure out who our leaders are, and see how we should participate in this process in a way that uplifts the most people. Listen, encourage me, compliment me, praise me, critique me, point out my flaws, help me be a better person. I want your small business, if you have one, even if you're a sole proprietor, to get money. I want you in this January to continue to watch this and maybe previous episodes if you missed them to learn what's going on in politics as we get closer and closer to the election for mayor and city council here in Camden. I would like for you to make sure you continue to eat healthy and drink water so your immune system is strong and your body can handle COVID-19 with strength and wellness. I also want you to make sure that your children watch the videos that they're watching on YouTube. Make sure that ask them about what they're learning, ask them about how they feel about school, have a calm, safe conversation. Make sure their workspace is clear of clutter and that you're attentive as much as you can, that they are paying attention as they're on school. Continue to do the social distancing. I know it's frustrating. I know it's been a long time. It doesn't seem like it's going to get much better anytime soon, but this is all the things that I want to share with you. Encourage me and I will encourage you. Let's build, let's grow, let's get better. Let's do whatever we can to contribute to making our society better. But remember that begins with you in your home. So with that said, and nobody won the contest. Nobody answered the question. There used to be, I went to the University of Delaware, and there used to be a joke that I went to Del State. That was the old joke. Did the person get the business feedback, Ben? I see that you put that in. You know, Ben, I saw your comment late, so I don't know. Oh, I know you said that when I was talking about the restaurant. She didn't. She just said she would never go back, and that's what happens. And I think people really should do Google reviews when you have a bad or good experience, so that because they'll pay attention to that and they'll read it and they'll know it. And it's public, so it puts someone on notice. I think I might have to give that. I think I might have to give that feedback. The question, did I say it out loud? The question that Ben asked was, where's your question, Ben? Oh, did the person give feedback? So when I was saying that the restaurant, just if you weren't watching earlier, I was saying that restaurants have a responsibility. I'm saying that first, we should be supporting businesses in our own community. Point one. Point two, those businesses need to be worth supporting. They need to be of quality. Matter of fact, probably better quality than anywhere else. So I was saying I recommended a restaurant. My friend went, didn't like it, was complaining. And then I was just asked if that friend gave feedback to the restaurant, and the answer is she did not. Maybe I will. I don't know. What else? So there's a lot that's going to be going on this week. I think I'll be going live this week. So if you are watching this on WCMD Media, please go and like Urban Disruptors Weekly Wrap Up on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like Urban Disruptors Weekly Wrap Up on Facebook and also WCMD Media on Facebook. Everybody, follow the other things. I want to congratulate Lady T for starting her show last Thursday. She will be back on this Thursday. Also want to congratulate Lioness for having her show and interviewing Sean and Kelvin. And also congratulations to Mike Ways, also known as Drama Cove, for leading, having a hip hop, giving hip hop artists the opportunity to practice their craft. And yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. I will definitely have a guest next week. If you have any recommendations, ideas, or suggestions, please let me know. Have a good day. Be safe.